Hey everybody, this video is part of our full-length The Onside Kick podcast. You can find that on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes. You can pretty much find it anywhere, so we don't care where you listen. Just stick around and check it out.
This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with the Mark Weber.
Dub them ease.
And we are back for another edition of The Onside Kick here on Most Valuable Podcast. If you are on YouTube, hey guys, it's nice to see you yet again. If you are on Blog Talk, iTunes, Stitcher, thank you guys for giving us the download and listen today. We got a jam-packed show for you because, Mark, not only have you come out with your 2.0,
Yep.
Todd McShay surprised us. He's out with his 3.0. So Todd McShay is now a full 0.0 ahead of us. Not a 0.0, but you guys get the deal. He is 1.0 ahead of us.
Number point.
He is 1.0 ahead of us. I got to get working on my next one to come out in a few weeks because I got to work on this stuff. But we got a jam-packed show. We're going to be talking about the Brandin Cooks deal with the Patriots, but not how you may think. We're going to be asking the question, is everything that the Patriots are doing, down to Hightower, Brandin Cooks, could 2017 be Tom Brady's last year? And then for the rest of the podcast after that, we're going to dive into the draft. We're going to take a look at Jonathan Allen versus Solomon Thomas and then finish the show talking about O.J. Howard. Is he a top 5 pick in the NFL draft? But, Mark, we are going to start in New England. New England goes out and gets Donta Hightower. They pay him $43.5 million today. They went out and traded for Brandin Cooks, giving up a first-round and a third-round selection for Cooks and a fourth-round selection. I'm going to be plain and simple. Are the Patriots making moves to set up for Tommy's last ride?
Well, I think they're doing interesting things, keeping Hightower with all the drama surrounding Butler, of course, after paying big bucks for some more defensive backs on the team. They are showing that they are not afraid to make moves right now. And then trading away a first-round pick, yeah, it's 32, but still, it's a first-round pick. Trading that away to get a stud wide receiver. And right now, with them being completely unwilling to trade Jimmy Garoppolo and shutting all of that down, to me, the writing's on the wall. And that's one of the first things that came to my mind when I saw all these things. I said, man, the Patriots are doing everything they can to assemble the ultimate team, essentially, and make a run. And you sit there and you think,
they just won it.
They just won one. Why do they need to do this now? Well, to me, the only reason why they would need to go balls to the walls to get this one last one, they have to know somebody's leaving. They got two options. It's either Belichick or Tom Brady, and it's more likely to be Tom Brady than Belichick, but hell, it could be both. I mean, it's the perfect time for someone like Tom Brady to retire because Jimmy Garoppolo does not get an opportunity to have a contract year. So they'll re-sign him a good deal, but not an all-star deal.
Nothing like the kind of the Kirk Cousins, what he would expect if he wasn't franchise tag.
He's going to look at potentially more like a Mike Glennon type of deal of like, this is good. Or Tyrod Taylor's restructured deal. This is good. It's not amazing. You have a few years and then the opportunity to get more. It's just perfect opportunity for them to just switch. They go all out. They get one final one, even though I don't understand why they would have needed it. But hey, the contract year, it kind of helps to not have to pay huge money to Jimmy Garoppolo if he does really well. And I don't know. I think that, to me, it just seems obvious.
Well, and the thing I'm going to say is, I know that already our own Sean Anderson has already read the title, and he's already heard you speak about it, and he's already had a heart attack.
Oh, for
I may
sure.
have to give him some of my blood pressure pills because he has already had a heart attack on the floor dying. And the one thing I'm going to say is I would like to believe that 2017 is not Tom Brady's last year. And I mean, based off of the year that we saw in 2016, people might be saying it is idiotic to even ask the question if 2017 is the last year for Tom Brady.
But we're not really asking it because we think he's going to drop off or anything like that.
We're asking
it's
it
possible.
because of the moves that the Patriots are making.
We're just saying that it seems like Bill Belichick, Kraft, and the whole Patriots organization are they're making a lot of moves right now that they don't really need to make unless they are trying to, for sure, win a Super Bowl. And sure, they could just be wanting to win a Super Bowl because they want to win Super Bowls. That's totally possible. But I don't think that you can. Sometimes you have to read between the lines. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you got to read between the lines. And this is one of those times where I feel like you should read between the lines.
Well, and the thing that I'm going to go off of what you said, we're not saying that, we're not making the accusation that Tom Brady's going to fall off, because based on what we've seen,
we haven't seen it yet.
You'd be stupid to say, oh, he's just going to have an immediate drop off. However, we have seen quarterbacks in the past try to play past 40, and this upcoming August, guess who's going to be 40? Tommy Brady. And it's one of those things where you hear it all the time. I hear it on First Take. You hear it on Uninterrupted. You hear it on all the sports shows. What's the one?
Was that supposed to be Undisputed?
Undisputed. That's what it is. Uninterrupted. The same thing.
Let's make a show called Uninterrupted.
The one thing that I always hear on those ESPN's Fox Sports shows is, well, Father Time is undefeated. And he is. Once your body gets older, your body regresses. It kind of like Charles Woodson even talked about it. Halfway through his last season, he was sitting in a hotel room in Detroit, looked out the window at a snowy D-town, and just said, I wouldn't care if the game was canceled today. I just wouldn't care. And that's the moment he said he knew it was time to hang it up. Now, Tom Brady, completely different circumstance. Tom Brady takes care of his body really well. We always hear about what he's putting into his body, how he's taking care of it, especially during the football season.
Incredibly competitive. He doesn't want to let somebody take over.
However, the Patriots have to know when everything's going to end. Robert Kraft has already come out and said, I believe it was on The Herd, he said this, or it was Colin Cowherd that said that he knew about this, but Robert Kraft knows when Bill Belichick is going to hang it up. He knows Bill Belichick has a date in his head, a kind of like mock, like, okay, this is what I'm thinking. And Robert Kraft knows that. And you see these moves. You go out and get a receiver. You go out and re-sign Donta Hightower without giving up Malcolm Butler. These are not Patriot. Like, this is not what the Patriots do.
They were flashy in free agency, and they made some big splashes on the defense, on the offense. They are not, at the same time, although they are, getting rid of a first-round pick, things like that, they're not willing to get rid of all the, future, like Jimmy Garoppolo potentially. Although, like I said, they do have to re-sign him.
Let's put it this way. The way that they move this first-round pick, I see it exactly like when the Seahawks won their Super Bowl. When they gave the first-round pick at the very end of the first round to us and we took Teddy Bridgewater, that's basically what they're doing. The Saints will get a guy that could help them. Maybe even like, I know Teddy Bridgewater in that case is like, Ricky, what are you saying? Teddy Bridgewater was supposed to be your quarterback that you could lean on. That's what you took in the first round, but that's the type of pick that they're giving away. They're not giving away anything that they really could have used.
No,
with that
not,
first round
not
pick.
for the Patriots.
Plus,
it's the
Patriot
Patriots.
way to, we don't need a first round pick. We'll go and get it in the fourth, the third.
The thing about with that is that they aren't. When I'm talking about that, I'm saying that the getting rid of the first round pick is not getting rid of the future, like if they had traded Jimmy Garoppolo, because they believe he is the future.
And that was the interesting thing, is the whole thing that we heard. Well, I know I heard on ESPN radio here in Chicago, because our kind of city was wrapped around the Jimmy Garoppolo trade, because the Bears were one of the teams that were looking to trade for him. Everything you heard was, well, the Patriots are shopping Jimmy Garoppolo because some say they like Jacoby Brissett better than they do Jimmy Garoppolo. And they've got him. If you've got that backup at number 3, why do you got to hang on to Garoppolo? And then all of a sudden they pull it off. And the day that Jimmy Garoppolo, it was like, nope, he's not going to be traded. Adam Scheffler came out with it. I said Vince Lombardi. I said it on the solo podcast I did. He tweeted right after and said, you know what? This is not a move that the Patriots are trying to up his value. They really like Garoppolo. So Lombardi was behind the scene saying, hey, this is them really liking Garoppolo and hanging on to him. And that's kind of what I think it is, too. I don't think they were trying. Obviously, now they haven't upped the deal and they haven't traded him to Cleveland, the team that everyone is like, that's where Garoppolo would go. I think that there might be a plan behind the scenes. It might not be like, oh, this is Tom Brady's last year, but this could be the barometer year for Tom Brady. And I am not saying he's going to fall off before everyone starts click-clacking in the comment section, but this could be the barometer, because the one thing that I mentioned earlier that is going to be interesting is Tom Brady turns 40 this year, and we do not know how Mr. Brady is going to react to the age of 40.
Yeah, honestly, people keep saying something like that, and for all we know, that might be the one thing Tom Brady wants to do. He just wants to play when he's 40, and then that's it. It might just be one season when he's 40. We really don't know what it is that he is looking for. And I had asked that right after the Super Bowl. Fans of the show might remember that. I said, he's already proved that he's the greatest of all time. It's not even an arguable fact anymore. It's not a debatable thing, I should say. It is a fact now. He's got the record. He had the best comeback of all time. He put the team on his back due. He had the suspension, and he beat Goodell anyways. He did everything he needed. There's nothing really to debate. Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. What is he going to play for now? That was my big thing. I'm sure what a lot of people said and what Sean Anderson would say is, well, he plays because he loves the game. And I get that.
Well,
I do.
I would hope that everyone plays because they love the game.
Yeah, a lot of people play for money.
A lot of people do play for money.
And Tom Brady is not playing for money. He doesn't need it. He's set because his wife is rich as hell.
How he can restructure his deal to say, yeah, let me restructure it so that we can go out and give down to Hightower $43.5 million.
So he doesn't need that. And for me, my big thing I'm saying is just, what is it that he's playing for? You need, when you're an athlete, when you are trying to accomplish a goal or trying to accomplish something, you need to see what it is you're going for. You can't just sit there day after day and go, throw this ball 40 times. All right, score some touchdowns, maybe win the game. Okay, cool. Why? You need a reason. And any of you who work a job, especially if you work in something like sales or, customer service or something, you need an end goal. You need to see what your work is bringing to the organization, the company, whatever it might be. You need that. Otherwise, you will drive yourself insane. Believe me, I do it every day. I need a clear-cut reason why I'm doing these things. And I'm not saying that this is what's going to, make Tom Brady stop. But what I'm saying is I'm sure there is something in his head he is still trying to accomplish. And maybe it is just to shut people up and saying, hey, I'm not over the hill. I am not falling off. Maybe that's all it is. But there just has to be something that's going to make this man go out there, get his ass kicked time and time again, because he's a quarterback and quarterbacks get hit a lot. Something has to be that. And maybe it is just like, hey,
but that's
Tom, let's get one more.
That's the one thing with Tom Brady that I will say. He does. It's one of those things where the quarterback does get hit, but Tom Brady doesn't get hit like most quarterbacks get hit. He's, because of the three-stop patterns, and with Brandin Cooks, the one thing that he brings to this team, yeah, they can send him on a fly route, but what route is Brandin Cooks really good at? The good old-fashioned slant, which wheels right into what Tom Brady is. 1, 2, 3, out.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, out. Let Gronk go down the field.
Yeah, but the thing about that is the man's still going to get hurt. I mean, he's sure he won't get hurt as much, but he's still going to get hurt. He's still going to put his body through a lot. And as we've seen with many quarterbacks and many players in the NFL, those later years are not too great. Not talking about when you're in the NFL. I'm talking about when you're retired. That life is not that great anymore.
Well, after you're still dealing with all the hits that you've taken.
So I'm just saying that there's obviously something that he's still trying to accomplish. He's not just going out there for the hell of it. There's something he's trying to do.
And the one thing I look at is I've just pulled up, this is from the ProFootballHallOfFame.com, and it's the 40 and over club. They have all the players that have played over 40, and I'm just looking at the quarterbacks. You have George Blanda played until 48. You have 44 was some of the notables, Warren Moon and Vinny Testaverde. Doug Flutie, 43. We have Mark Brunell, 41. Brett Favre was also 41. A ton of quarterbacks played to 40, where you had Len Dawson in there. You have Matt Hasselbeck, Brad Johnson, Jim Thorpe, Johnny Unitas. The one thing out of the ones, because I can't speak for every quarterback over 40, there were just so many of these names that I have not named because I don't want to say them because I never watched them play. Like George Blanda, I had to say him because he played to 48, but that was a different era of football.
Yeah.
That was a different era, a different time. They didn't have the same athletes that we have right now.
And we could just be completely wrong, and Tom Brady will play till he's 50.
Well,
Who the fuck knows?
He could. And the only reason why I'm saying he could theoretically is because every quarterback that I named never had taken care of the body. Like, I use Brett Favre for the example. Brett Favre, I would love to say, you know what, Tom Brady, look at Brett Favre's career. He got to 40. That 40-year season was the miraculous one. That was the first year in Minnesota. He goes down. The miraculous plays that he had leads us to the NFC title game. Should have been a Super Bowl.
But did
Looking at you, New Orleans, you bunch of cheaters. But should have been a Super Bowl. He gets injured, comes back for that next season, and he just breaks in 2010 with 41. However, the difference to Tom Brady is Brett Favre was that reckless kind of, not reckless, but he was a gunslinger.
Yeah.
He was going out there. He was throwing it in the hits that you would see him take. He'd get a hit and then look from the ground up to see if he completed it. Like that was the two different play styles. But with Tom Brady, back to the original question, he's got it. I think Tom Brady has to know, you know what? I don't think I can play till 50. I think it's a ruse when we hear I'm going to play till 50. I don't think you're going to play till 50. I know that people out there do not think you're going to play to 50. I don't know if 2017 is going to be the last season, but we might be getting to the end of the Tom Brady era. And the one question I might have to flip this to at the end is, do the Patriots force the button of, okay, you can continue to play, but we have to go with Jimmy Garoppolo because that's what's best for our team.
Well, I've been saying this for a couple of years now that eventually the Patriots are going to get to that point where they have to make that decision. And I thought they might want a year to see with Jimmy Garoppolo, so that's why I kind of thought that maybe he would ride off into the sunset. And he hasn't done that apparently. I mean, he still has time. He could still do it. In theory, he could still do it.
Theoretically, is that what you're looking for?
It's late. And it's totally possible. At the same time, it's totally possible that he goes on forever. We have no clue. We just have to ask the question because the Patriots are making moves, and these moves look to point in a certain direction. When you see smoke, there might just be fire. That's not the way that phrase usually works, but that's the way it's going to work today. So I just think we have to look at that. But yeah, they really are going to be asked this question because of Jimmy Garoppolo. Because if Jimmy Garoppolo has the opportunity to go play for, San Francisco, for Chicago, for, Cleveland, whatever that team might be, hell, Jacksonville might need a quarterback. Blake Bortles might fall apart. Who knows? If he's got the opportunity to guarantee start somewhere, he's not going to come back and be Tom Brady's backup for another year because then Tom Brady might retire. I don't know. He's not going to do that to himself. The man wants to play. This is why Mike Glennon is a starting quarterback now. He wants to
go play. I mean, he could have stayed and been the highest paid backup.
Exactly, and I'm sure that Jimmy Garoppolo would be the highest paid backup if he stayed. But these guys are competitive. These guys they want to win. That's what it comes down to. The question will be asked, and they have to see what the Patriots want to do. And that's the whole reason why we're talking about this is because that question will come up after the end of the year, and all the signs are pointing towards the Patriots are trying to do something.
Well, and the two last points that I'm thinking about in my head that I want to make before I flip it back to you for your final remarks on this, Mark, is just two things. First off, I think of Peyton Manning. He was a guy never played to 40, but the reason why he never got there, neck injury. And that's the big thing with Tom Brady, that he does not have. Tom Brady virtually, has been clean except for one bad season, and it was because of a cheap shot on his knee.
Yeah, he's only had 3 years where he hasn't, well, except for that very first year where he barely showed up.
He had that one season where he missed the entire year, and that was the Matt Castle
And then
year.
he had one season where he missed a game, and this past season he was suspended.
It was just suspension.
Yeah.
But
Those
that
are the
was
only times he hasn't played.
That was Deflategate. We never have to bring that up again, I thought. I thought we never had to bring Deflategate up again.
We'll see what happens.
But the last point I was going to make is the thing that's going to pretty much, to me, not decide Tom Brady's future, but could play into it, is Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Are they linked? Are they going to end at the same time? Is it going to be once Tom is done, Bill's done, or is this something where Bill goes, hey, you know what? I know my defense. I know my wide receivers. I can draft young wide receivers, get them to play well. I know my defensive backs is really where I hit my money. The one position throughout my career that I haven't really hit right, and let's be honest, I struck gold with Tom Brady. I mean, there were how many teams that passed on him, and the Patriots passed on him 5 or 6 times before they ended up drafting him. So it's one of those things where I think of, is Bill going to walk away when Tom does and they're going to be linked? Or is this Bill going to say, hey, you know what? And a reason why they're keeping on to Garoppolo is, hey, I got lucky with Tom. Not often do you strike gold twice in the quarterback department. I ain't trading this kid because I struck gold again. And when Tom eventually does walk, I need a quarterback because that's the one spot that I haven't been able to hit on in my past.
Yeah, I think that one thing that's going to be interesting is there is a small debate that comes up every now and then of who's the real champion here or who's the real winner. Is it Tom Brady or is it Bill Belichick? One of and this doesn't have to be the case. I'm just saying what the debate is. The debate is that one of these guys has to be the better of the two. One of these guys made the other.
Ringmaster?
Yeah, either Tom Brady elevated Bill Belichick's system or Bill Belichick's system elevated Tom Brady, who otherwise would not be as good. Or Bill Belichick, if he coached, in Houston, he wouldn't be any more successful than Bill O'Brien is currently. Bill O'Brien, I believe, from the Belichick tree.
Yep.
That's why I tried to make that comparison. Anyways, because none of Bill Belichick's coaches really are successful. And coaching trees, some people don't like to talk about it, but I think it's interesting. Anyways, if they go out together, the nice thing about that for both of them, and then I'm sure they're not thinking about this, but it does shut down that argument. You can never really make that. You can never really have a definitive answer. Where if, let's say Tom Brady retires and Bill Belichick keeps going, and those last 2 years, turns out Jimmy Garoppolo was nothing that we thought he was going to be. He's Matt Castle 2.0, whatever it might be. He's nothing, he's out, and then, they have a 3-win, a 5-win, 6-win, whatever it might be. We're all going to be saying, oh, I guess it was Tom Brady. I don't know. I just find it interesting. I'm not saying we need to have the discussion. I just think it's interesting.
Kind of in my head, the first thing I thought of when you were saying that is you could say the same thing for Michael and Phil in the NBA.
Yeah.
Because the thing that we have in the NBA is Phil and Michael win 6, then Phil goes to LA, wins 6 more.
Yep.
Wins a couple more championships here. You have that debate of, was it Phil Jackson and his triangle elevating MJ? Or did Phil just have 2 of the best players to play in the NBA since 1990?
And we don't like to talk about it, but Michael Jordan didn't do very much in Orlando.
It wasn't Orlando. It was Washington.
I don't watch basketball, guys.
We don't talk about that year. It never happened.
Yeah.
It never happened. But before we wrap this on, before we move on, any last things we didn't touch about with the Tom Brady and with the moves with Hightower and Cooks?
No, I just think that, I'm sure people want us to talk about Cooks or Hightower. There's honestly, I don't think there's really that much to talk about. You're talking about the best team in the NFL, keeping one player that makes them one of the best teams, adding another player who's one of the best and underrated wide receivers.
Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah, I mean, they were already Super Bowl favorites, and they're still Super Bowl favorites. So yeah, there's honestly not that much to talk about with that. The interesting thing is just these moves. What else do they spell? Because these GMs, or Bill Belichick, because he's GM and coach,
or Robert Kraft, because he's the owner,
and Robert Kraft, these guys are thinking 3, 4, 5 years ahead.
It's a chess game to them.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why this discussion came up. And yeah, that's all I got.
Well, it's exactly like chess. You always got to be a move or two or maybe even 3 moves ahead of your opponent if you want to win, especially when it comes to success over a few years, like 3 to 5 year over that time path. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know down below. What do you guys think? Do these moves spell out, kind of like Mark said, kind of a writing on the wall for maybe this could be Tom Brady's season? Let us know down below what you guys think about everything we just talked about.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And don't worry, there is plenty more where that came from. You guys can check it out right over here. Click that video, start watching it, and just stick around on Most Valuable Podcasts.